Hi, this is IK. Welcome to Interface Segregation Principle. Clients should not be forced to depend upon interfaces that they don't use. Interfaces here is keyword in TypeScript. But never mind, my React application is without TypeScript. When I need it, I said artificial intelligence that my application convert in TypeScript and the job is finished. And after that I can only learn TypeScript and to see differences and learn about that. Okay, now in React application, my React application was not scripting in TypeScript. I thinking that interface segregation principle is this. Here is application 470. It is homepage. Left is blog post menu left, and there is a links only heading. Right is blog post menu. It is heading with content. Complete post. Heading, content. What I click, I have in right side heading and content. But here is interesting left component, blog post menu left. Blog post menu left, there is only heading, and there is only ID. There is no content. And I connect it with this principle, with this interface segregation principle. Clients should not be forced to depend upon interfaces that they don't use. Okay? Component, blog post, menu left, would not be dependent about content. Post, there is ID, heading, and content. And blog post menu left would not be depend about content. Blog post menu left is child component of app.js component. App.js component is parents, and app fetch data, fetch complete array post, member of what is singular by singular post. That array post is plural, that array coming in parents and go like props, coming in also coming in app like by fetch data, by use effect, and pass to child component like properties, like props, and pass to blog post menu left child, passed as properties, complete ID, heading and content. And I ask ChatGPT how solve it. Component blog post menu left need only ID and heading, and because it is child, how eliminate content. Look at it at first, how eliminate content from a child that would not be dependent about content. And the child and the artificial intelligence give me this solution. Parents component, and here is a blog post menu like child. Here is app fetch data post, and give me this solution. Declare object simplified post equal copy of all posts, complete post, method sort descending. Okay, but here is interesting on that descending ordered simplified post map. Look at here. Here is interesting. Only ID heading. It is in curly brackets. Only ID heading. Before it was only post. One parameter was post in that arrow function, and not in curly brackets. Now it is in curly brackets, ID and heading. And in body, we will have ID heading array. We will have result of map is always array, new array, and in that array we will have object with ID heading without content. We will have simplified. We will have only two fields, ID heading of every post ID heading, and it would be object by object. How many posts in array. Also here would be same number of ID heading, post without content. And that simplified post, I only copy here simplify post, and don't change post because I have less coding. It is properties. And we now know that properties, props, would be only ID. It would be array with object, but every object would have only ID and heading. It go in blog post menu left, and now we can look blog post menu left. Here it is. Blog post menu left received props. It is only two. It is only two ID and heading in every object. And return, there is no here use effect, and because of descending order. No, we create descending order in one statement, expression, and in same time we limited every post on ID and heading. And here coming disordered, descending ordered post, descending ordered, and only ID and heading of every post. Coming here, and it is enough. We need post ID, we need post heading. Here is a creation of link, and here is every link go. I enter first A, second B, C, D, and now you see this descending order. What is it? It is from last to first. Okay. Now, a question is, we did not have any better situation than before, because blog post menu left is child, and parent component app re-rendered every time when mutate post. It means original post. It means if we edit, if we change only content, update content in post, it is a sign for re-rendered app, would be re-rendered app, and every time when parents re-rendered also child component. Any changes, re-rendering parents, re-rendering child. And now question is, never mind what our child have only ID dependent about ID and heading. When parents received mutated post, because reason would be update content, never mind would be update child component. And I ask artificial chat GPT how stop that, how I can obstacle, don't permit re-rendered child component blog post left if is not changed ID and heading. ID is changed when we have delete some post, when we update heading, when we add post, we have more ID and more heading. All that would be re-rendered child. But if re-rendering of parents coming because of content change, it would not re-render child because child don't depend about content. And how artificial solve it? Artificial solve it with memo. Method memo, React object, method memo, and instead this statement, write only this statement, react.memo, and in parameter of that memo is name of component blog post menu left, and it is memoized the component, and it means that component will not be re-rendered when parent component re-rendered if ID and heading not changed in entire post. If ID and heading not change, it means it. And I explore, research little memo, what is it, and I find this I find this in React original documentation about memo. We have this method, memoize. This method only exists as a performance optimization. Don't rely on it to prevent a render, as this can lead to bugs. Here is this sentence. Okay, and all other what I read about, I know that memoization we use more memory, and Okay, this sentence is very, very important, and in this my small React application I don't think about that, but now I know how, if I need, because of performance optimization, for example, how I can stop re-rendered child component, even though parent component re-rendered. Okay, it's that's it. But something here is something else interesting. Let's go to app.js. app.js. It is an excellent solution of application intelligence, ChatGPT, but of authors of that intelligence, where why rendered child component if there is no data, if array is empty. If array is empty, for example, it is here F12. Here it is. It is home page. App finished rendering. Okay. And we have again refresh. App finished rendering. Okay. What it means? Look at here. When we enter address and call home page, app.js 11 start rendering, but there is no here. We don't see re-rendered of. We don't see rendered, not initial rendered of blog post menu left. Blog post menu left. Don't see because empty. Here it is empty. We have array in initial app.js initial rendering. We have empty, and only in second use effect. By use effect fetch data, and after that we have data and blog post menu left activate. How? Here is array is empty, and here is post dot length greater than 0. If post greater than 0, question mark in iterary. It is iterary named. Iterary is if-else construction. Question mark means if it is true, post length bigger than 0, render blog post menu left. If not, column said if not, show loading. Show loading message while fetching data. And we have that. Look at here. Here it is. Home page. This is home page. Home page is this. Refresh. Look at. It was before I look at for would be right, would be component 1 blog post, but here is a home page. and the home page have app empty array. Blog post menu, there is no blog post menu here, but we have blog post, we have not blog post menu left like before, but we have blog post menu because blog post menu fetch own data, don't depend about parent. And after that, go use effect, and in use effect we have in blog post menu at first fetch data, but didn't display, present the data. No, go app finished rendering, and after that batch display on the screen or rendered data together for all three components. Batch, React batch rendering all three together, and we see in the same time all finished component. Look at here. Blog post menu finished, app finished, and now batch rendering. Look at loading. Here is loading. Or now loading. Here it is loading. And after finished rendering, we have in same time batch rendering all three result data of all three components. And because of this, here is a very simple solution. Post length. Every array there is a properties length, how many members there is. A length is always for one number more than index of last member in array, because index in array start with 0. And last member, for example, will have 5. It means that length is 6. Okay, post length, if greater than 0, we rendered it. And first time, it means that it is excellent saving resources and not waste resources, because there is no rendering of child in initial rendering, because app.js start initial with empty. Here is post user state, initial state of post would be empty. And starting app rendering, we have initial rendering, we have empty post, and we have not rendered child. In second rendering, when app use effect and have set post to receive the data, after that, in that process of rendering, child would be rendered, and child would be rendering. Blog post menu left would be rendering. But if in the future, in the working process, we update content of some post, app parents would be re-rendered. because app received complete fetch data, complete post, ID, heading, content. Depend about all three fields. But it will not be reason for re-rendering child if only mutate content. What don't permit it? It is don't permit memo method. Memo method, what is in blog post menu left. A memo method don't permit re-rendering child if only changed content of some of post. Okay, it's all for this video. If you know somebody that need video like this, tell them. If you need, subscribe, like, comment. Thank you for watching this video.